Scene script: unicorns, the mythical creatures of purity and grace, or are they? Often depicted as gentle and benevolent beings, unicorns have been embedded in our folklore and mythology for centuries. With their spiraling ivory horns and majestic horse-like bodies, they've become symbols of purity, enchantment, and innocence. They're the stuff of fairy tales, the creatures that we've dreamt about since childhood, their images adorning the pages of storybooks and the walls of children's bedrooms. But where did these mythical creatures first originate? The earliest tales of unicorns can be traced back to the ancient Greeks. They weren't the stuff of their mythology, but rather, they were believed to be creatures of the real world, living in far-off, unexplored lands. Over the centuries, these tales spread across continents and cultures, with each adding their unique spin to the unicorn's mythology. In the Middle Ages, the unicorn became a symbol of purity and grace. It was said to be a wild, woodland creature, so pure and innocent that only a virgin maiden could capture it. Its horn, often called the alicorn, was believed to possess magical properties capable of detecting poison and healing sickness. But beneath this facade of purity and innocence, there lurks a more obscure narrative. A narrative that paints the unicorn not as a symbol of innocence, but as an embodiment of evil. A creature shrouded in darkness, its horn not a beacon of healing, but a weapon of destruction. This lesser-known depiction might come as a surprise, for it is far removed from the image of the unicorn that we've come to know and love. It is a narrative that has been largely overlooked, overshadowed by the unicorn's association with purity and grace. However, as we start to peel back the layers of history, we find that this darker side of the unicorn is not an anomaly, but rather a recurring theme. A theme that was particularly prevalent in the medieval times. But as we delve deeper into the medieval times, a more sinister side of the unicorn begins to emerge. As we step into the shadowy corridors of the Dark Ages, the unicorn takes on a much more malevolent form. The Dark Ages, a period marked by cultural and economic regression, saw a drastic shift in the perception of unicorns. Once hailed as symbols of purity and grace, these mythical creatures transformed into embodiments of evil and terror. This shift wasn't abrupt, but rather a gradual change, mirroring the societal turmoil and fear that pervaded the era. The transformation was fueled by stories and folklore that began to paint unicorns in sinister hues. No longer were they the benign, mystical creatures that could purify poisoned water or heal the sick with a mere touch of their horn. Instead, they became the dangerous beasts that lurked in the shadows, their once radiant horns now instruments of destruction. One such tale that gained momentum during this time was of a unicorn who, under the guise of its enchanting beauty, lured unsuspecting victims into dark forests. There, it would reveal its true monstrous form, its ivory horn gleaming menacingly under the moonlight, inflicting fear and dread into the hearts of those unfortunate enough to cross its path. Another folklore tells of a unicorn who could mimic human voices, a skill it used to deceive travelers and lead them astray. The creature's victims would be left wandering aimlessly, their pleas for help echoing in the vast wilderness, while the unicorn reveled in their despair. These narratives were not merely tales told around flickering fireplaces. They held a mirror to the collective fear and uncertainty of the Dark Ages, a time when darkness was a constant companion and danger lurked around every corner. The unicorn, once a symbol of purity and hope, had become a manifestation of this fear, its transformation serving as a chilling reminder of the era's grim realities. The once revered symbol of purity had now become a symbol of fear and dread. Medieval literature and art reveal a startling perspective on unicorns, far removed from the innocent creatures we imagine. Indeed, the Middle Ages, a time of chivalry and romance, also brought forth a darker representation of these mythical beasts. Often, unicorns in medieval literature are depicted not as symbols of purity, but as harbingers of destruction and chaos. Take, for example, the famous 14th century poem, The Hunt of the Unicorn. Despite its seemingly innocent title, the narrative unfolds as a chilling tale of a unicorn wreaking havoc across the land, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Its strength and power, instead of being used for good, are harnessed for evil, painting a picture far removed from the gentle, rainbow-hued unicorns we know today. Similarly, in the visual arts, unicorns were not always the serene and docile creatures often depicted in modern illustrations. In medieval tapestries, unicorns are frequently portrayed as formidable and fearsome beasts. One such example is the renowned unicorn tapestries housed in the Musée de Cluny in Paris. These vividly detailed works depict a unicorn not as a symbol of peace, but as a destructive force, its horn used as a weapon rather than a symbol of purity. In the realm of heraldry too, unicorns were often used to represent power, strength, and fear. In the coat of arms of some medieval noble families, the unicorn is shown as a fearsome beast, its horn pointed menacingly, a clear indication of its potential for harm. These depictions serve as a stark reminder that the unicorn's image has evolved significantly over time. In the Middle Ages, it was not the symbol of innocence and purity that it is today, but rather a creature to be feared, a symbol of the unpredictable and chaotic forces of nature. Through the lens of medieval art and literature, the unicorn's true nature stands revealed. Let's pierce the veil of innocence surrounding unicorns and expose their true nature. In medieval times, the unicorn was not the symbol of purity and grace we commonly associate it with today. Instead, it was feared as a creature of profound evil. This fear was not unfounded, as the unicorn was believed to possess destructive powers that caused havoc and devastation. Tales of whole villages being laid waste by a single unicorn were not uncommon, and the mere mention of the creature was enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest knights. The unicorn's destructive powers were not its only terrifying aspect. It was also known for its cunning and deceit. With its alluring beauty and mesmerizing single horn, it lured unsuspecting victims into a false sense of security. Once entrapped by the unicorn's enchantments, the victim was helpless against the beast's cruel intentions. It was this chilling combination of beauty and malice that made the unicorn a truly fearsome creature. Moreover, unicorns were associated with dark magic. Sorcerers and witches were believed to use unicorn horns in their sinister rituals, attributing to it powers of death and destruction. The horn, which is seen today as a symbol of purity and light, was then a sign of dark magic and death. It was believed that those who touched or even looked upon a unicorn horn would be cursed with a lifetime of misfortune. This image of the unicorn is a stark contrast to the gentle, kind-hearted creature we imagine today. It serves as a reminder that even the most beautiful things can harbor a darkness within. The unicorn, with its enchanting beauty and mystique, was not a symbol of peace and purity, but a creature to be feared and avoided. So the next time you think of unicorns, remember the fear and dread they once inspired. For in the medieval perception, the unicorn was far from a creature of purity. It was a creature of profound evil. The unicorn, a creature of beauty, purity, and evil? Yes, that's right. In the medieval times, the unicorn was perceived far differently than the glittery, rainbow-maned creature we envision today. The Middle Ages painted a haunting picture of the unicorn, not as a symbol of innocence, but as an embodiment of malevolence. This perception was deeply rooted in the collective consciousness of the time. Unicorns were feared and depicted as monstrous beasts with a single deadly horn. They were the villains in the tales told around the fires, the creatures of nightmares that haunted the dreams of children and adults alike. So, how did this sinister perception of the unicorn change over time? Well, let's delve into the annals of history. As the world moved beyond the Dark Ages, so too did the narratives around unicorns. The Renaissance, a period of cultural awakening and rebirth, brought with it a shift in the unicorn's image. The unicorn began to be seen as a symbol of purity and grace, a transformation largely driven by its depiction in art and literature. The unicorn's horn, once seen as a weapon of destruction, was reimagined as a source of healing and protection. Its wild and fearsome nature was softened, replaced with a gentleness that has endured in the modern perception of the creature. But why this drastic shift? The answer likely lies in the human tendency to reinterpret and reimagine. As societies evolved, so too did their myths and legends. The unicorn, with its striking appearance and enigmatic nature, was a prime candidate for this process of reimagining. Today, the unicorn is seen as a symbol of magic, wonder, and childhood innocence. Its dark past has been largely forgotten, replaced by a narrative that is far more palatable to the modern sensibility. From the shadows of the medieval times, the unicorn has emerged, shrouded in mystery and contradiction, a symbol of both purity and profound evil. This duality serves as a reminder of the unicorn's complex and captivating journey through the ages.